Hello, my name is Debbie, Gator Stitcher. Welcome to Flosstube number 22. Today is Thursday, November 11th, 2021. Today is Veterans Day here in the United States, Armistice Day in a lot of countries, and many countries are also observing Remembrance Sunday in a few days in honor of Armistice Day. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank anyone who is a veteran or who is currently serving in the military, as well as their families. I don't come from a military family. I'm not a veteran, but during my career, I had the opportunity to work alongside many members of the military, and I always appreciated their commitment and their hard work to achieving their mission. And also to the family members who often had to move on short notice every couple of years, if not every year. And just, at times the families were split apart if the member of the military was deployed, and even if it wasn't to a combat zone, but just somewhere else where the family couldn't go. And so I know that that is difficult, and I just want to say thank you to everyone. Your service is appreciated. So this is a video mainly about cross stitch. It sometimes is a little bit about what I'm reading and watching and life thrown in. It's been about 2 weeks since my last video. I've been a little bit under the weather, so my stitching isn't quite as much as it usually is. I did touch on quite a few projects. I'm not going to show all of them. There have been 2 challenges that have been sort of directing my stitching, both of them in No New Starts. One of them was called Whip Frenzy, and we had to put as many stitches as possible, or 100 stitches into as many whips as possible. And I just didn't want to show everyone 100 stitches where you can't really see what I've done. And the other one is what they call the riff off, where basically you have to link each of your projects, and I will go through what I've done with that. But before I start showing you my stitching, I did want to give a big shout out to Laura from Stitching by the Shore. She gave me a shout out in her video. I was very close to 500, and thanks to her, I got quite a few new subscribers. So thank you very much, Laura. I am now over the 500 mark, and YouTube has opened up the community tab. It used to be that you had to get to 1,000 subscribers to get that, but they recently changed their model, and it's now down to 500. So they've told me it's been unlocked. I haven't done anything with that yet, but I'm trying to think of some fun ways that it can be utilized. But in honor of 500 subscribers, I do want to do 2 small giveaways. So I'm just going to jump into those right now. We're a couple months away from Christmas, so I'm going to have a couple small Christmas patterns I'd like to do as giveaways. I think the usual rules of giveaways apply. You must be 18 years or older. Please don't use the word giveaway or anything that indicates that there is a drawing for a prize. I want these to go to stitchers and not random people. So I'm going to give you a keyword, and if you're interested in one or both of these patterns, feel free to use that keyword. You can use it in a sentence. You can just put it at the end. Do whatever you want. I will then randomly do a drawing to select the winners, and I will mail anywhere in the world. I think things are getting better in terms of countries being able to accept international mail. I think some of the countries that had stopped for a while has started up. So that is the only caveat I put on there. I will still mail it to you, but it will just take probably a little bit longer. So anyhow, the first pattern I have, this is one from Teresa Kogut. It's called Old Saint Nick. So it's a little cute pattern, relatively small. I think it's not quite it's a little bit more than 100 by 100, so not too big. So this is a really pretty pattern in my opinion. So if you're interested in getting this, use the word deer, D-E-E-R. So that's the first pattern, and sorry, I'm trying to not give glare for you, but allow you to see it. And it is in the plastic, so I don't want to take it out and mess with the chart. And then the second one that I have here, this is Snowy Winter from, I want to make sure I get, Little House Needlework, so I wanted to make sure I got that right. And so if you're interested in winning this one, please use the word tree, T-R-E-E, because those are the words that I will look for. So good luck, and I look forward to seeing your comments. And I will announce the winners of those giveaways in my next video. It will probably be about 3 weeks before my next video, so I'm going to try and do it the week after Thanksgiving. So just also wanted to say some of my stitching news. I went to a little cross stitch retreat last weekend. It was in Ocala. It was organized by someone who leads a Facebook group. It's called the Sunshine State Stitchers, not to be confused with the Sunshine Stitchers, who are awesome but not affiliated with this group. And it basically is a Facebook group that's aimed at people in Florida and just trying to connect stitchers and businesses and help us sort of learn more about what is to learn more about what's going on in Florida. And then she periodically, sorry, I'm back. There's probably going to be a little break in that video. But I had things that were popping up on my screen that I just wanted to get rid of. So anyhow, the Sunshine State Stitchers, Anna organized this retreat. There were about 40 of us who attended. It was just at a hotel in Ocala. There were some small thread giveaways, Smalls Exchange. I participated in Threads giveaway, but not the Smalls Exchange. And it was just a lot of fun. It was a good chance to meet people in the area. I'm about 45 minutes away from Ocala. I did spend the night in the hotel. It was my first night in a hotel in probably 20 months. So, part of me says, yay, I don't have the cats trying to crawl all over me. And then I forgot about all the ambient noise that happens in hotels and lots of doors being shut loudly and things like that. So didn't get the best night of sleep while I was there, but I had a good time while I was there. And thank you to Anna for organizing it. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you my stitching. And the first thing I want to show you is a finish. I was very excited about this. So this is called Patriotic Patchwork. And obviously it's just the word America, and each of the letters have different patterns in them. So this is from July 2006, Cross Stitch Needlework. And I actually won this pattern in a giveaway from Michelle at Bendy Stitches. And so this was a lot of fun. It wasn't something that took me very long. This is 14 count aida. It was whenever I would start working on it, my needle would fly, but it wasn't something that called to me all the time. So I thought in October I would try and finish it, and then I think I had finished definitely through the R and part of the I. And I just got, that was where I was at. Actually, I don't even think I had the R done. And I just got burnt out on it trying to finish it. And so towards the end of October, I just stopped stitching on it. I had quite a bit of the C done and a couple lines of the A done. And I just sort of said, I don't want to, I've been pushing to finish projects in October, and I didn't want to burn out on it anymore. And so I just stopped. And then in one of my challenges, it was put back stitches into something. And so I said, this will be a great project. I was also, again, not feeling well, so I was tired. So having something very easy to stitch on, it was great just to pull this out. Obviously, I finished all the full crosses, and then I did all the back stitching in the C and the A. I finished that. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this. It was originally stitched in the magazine on like a band sampler, so the edges were already there, and then it was just you would make it into it. You put a dowel on the top and make it bell pull. I may still try and do something similar to that. I am not very good at sewing, so if I did that, I'd have to find someone who could finish it for me, or I may just find something that's long and skinny and mount it. But since I haven't done any FFOing this year, who knows when this will actually happen. But very happy that I have completed this, and I have another project under my belt for 2021. Okay. So now on to my active projects. As I mentioned, I was doing what they called the riff off in No New Starts, and the initial theme was festival. So you had to find something that meant festival to you. So for me, Christmas is like a festival. It's the festival of lights. And so I pulled out a Christmas pattern. And so here is, this is Mill Hill. This is Santa's Treats. And I also took this one to the retreat in Ocala because it's perforated paper, it's 14 count, it's easy to see and not too hard to work on. So I'm going to put this behind there. So here is where I am now. So basically all of this white stitching at the top is what I did. And it's going to say peppermint up here. So it was fairly easy to do, easy to see and to count. And I know some people struggle with perforated paper, but since I don't stitch in hand, I'm just using the poke and stab method. And so it's not much different for me. The only issue I have is this, sometimes because of the jaggedness of the edge here, that the thread might catch on it. I know someone said that she put some Scotch tape on there to stop that. I would consider doing that, but I haven't. It's not that much of a problem. So here's where I am now, and probably will pull this out at some point when I'm getting a little bit more into the Christmas spirit. But that is my first project. I then had to link that to my next one. So I said there were red stripes in that. There are red stripes in the mug. And so, of course, what do I have with red stripes? But Cats in the Toy Box by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Lesley Anne Ivory, and there's red stripes in all of that wallpaper. So I'm sort of in this part right here. And here is where I am now. So basically this is obviously not the bottom of the pattern, but to the bottom of where I'm working, I have completed all of the stitches in this border all the way over to this sort of checkered area here. So those are all completed, and quite a bit of the black here. There's some, not everything in the black stripe is done because I obviously need to work on the reins for, I don't know what this is, but I guess it's a donkey. I spend a lot of time not really sure what some of the dolls are in this, but anyhow, so I still need to do a little bit of that, but the idea is to pull over as much as possible and trying to get as much done as possible so that I can move my Q-snap further to the right and continue to work towards the center of the pattern. I also then did obviously a few stitches here in the kitty as well, who's starting to come to shape nicely. You can see the definition in the ears. There's a lot of Krynic in this kitty, and I've sort of been delaying working on that, but at some point I will have to pull it out and start getting going on the Krynic in this kitty, which there are some like in the ear, but like a lot of the head here has Krynic, and it's, I just keep, because as I'm filling in more and more stitches, the Krynic is just going to show more, lots of glaring symbols there that they're going to scream to me like, just do me, and at some point I will just bite the bullet and work on Krynic, but it moves a lot more slowly for me. So that is Cats in the Toy Box. And then I linked that to Sister Bears, Caroline and Emma, and the link was Teddy Bear. So here is the pattern. Obviously these are 2 teddy bears. This is a relatively small piece from an old magazine. And here is where I am now. So basically what I did was on this side, I did a lot of the white stitches down to here and then did some more white over here. So I already had quite a bit of this done. I put in a couple hundred stitches on the teddy bear as well. My goal this month is to finish this big teddy bear. I may get all of the cross stitches done, but there's a lot of back stitching, and I obviously can't do all the back stitching until I get this bear and other elements done, and so I just don't think I'm going to get that. But if I can get at least the X's done, I will consider that I have met my goal. Moving on from that, and I'll just point out there are some flowers in the hat of this bear. Sorry, not flowers. My link is leaves. There are leaves in this hat of the bear. And so I connected it next to Autumn Blessings. This is also from another old magazine. And you can see that in the design here, there are some leaves like there. I am not doing this whole pattern. I'm only doing this top part, and then I will do something to make the bottom border similar to the top part here. And so here's where I am. So basically this month I want to get the medallion part done. I have now finished all of the actual cross stitches in there. I didn't have a huge number to do. It was probably fewer than 100, but this is another, again, things from the 90s, heavy back stitch. And so I did a lot of the back stitch like on this house here, quite a bit on the barn. But then like down here in the wheat field, there's just a lot of back stitches and long stitches that I need to do, as well on other parts of this. There's on here, you can't really see it, but where those dark blotches are, those are actually part of a weather vane. So I obviously need to do the definition for that, so you can see that it's just not some random 310 in there, but actually something, an object there. So again, it's just a question of, sitting down and doing the back stitches. The pattern is also quite small, So I've actually had to take a picture of the pattern and blow it up on my phone just so I can see exactly where the back stitches go. And there's some quarter stitches in here, and just trying to figure out what the symbols were for those quarter stitches was difficult at times. But this is Autumn Blessings, and I'm enjoying working on this. And this, I don't know exactly what fabric this is. It's a printed fabric, so it might be a fabric flare. But I also, another shout out to Laura, because I won this in a giveaway from her probably a year ago, this fabric. And then I linked that I linked it to Little Cake Shop. And what I did there, honestly, I'm trying to think what my link was, and I don't remember off the top of my head. It may have been windows, because there are, oh no, sorry, it was hearts. That's definitely what it was. There's little hearts in that pattern, and you can sort of see, like in the back of these chairs, there are little heart patterns there. So the link for this was hearts. And so this is Little Cake Shop by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Amy Stewart. And so basically what I'm doing, again, similar to my other patterns, I'm trying to get stitches as much done as possible so at some point I can move the Q-snap, because I think at the end of the year I want to move all my Q-snaps. And so I just started pulling colors from here, so just more definition in this poster window. The teacups are starting to come together, as well as some of the stitches up here in the molding of the ceiling. And we also got bonus points if we had certain items. So one of them was the letter V. So there's a chalkboard in there that has the word vanilla. So I would get bonus points for that. I then said for that, because there are words in that, I linked it to Patriotic Patchwork, which I showed earlier, my finish. But then that one was always hard to link to other things. But I said it had patchwork and a couple of the letters. And I said, we can link that to Artecy High Intensity, art by Agnew, because jaguars have patches on their body. And so again, here's where I am, sort of pulling colors down here and as they come. So I think last time I showed it, this was actually quite white, because I've been pulling colors that were in his leg and tail and bringing them over, but now it's getting into some of this greenery. And it's just pulling it over and adding a little bit more definition. I think you can still sort of see the outline of where his belly is, and this will be greenery that eventually comes in there. But loving this pattern. And again, this is a good one for me to work on when I'm kind of tired, because it is 14 count. And so I can just see the holes really quickly. The downside is I cut off my normal lengths of thread, and doing my stitches, and then I look and I'm like, I only got 25 stitches out of that. And of course, because it's 14 count, the X's are bigger, as well as this is a very confetti heavy pattern, and so I just have to jump from space to space. So as you can see in the back, I don't usually show my backs, but you can see just lots of craziness going on there. But again, I love the way that this is coming together, and it's a relatively small pattern, so it's the kind of thing that I feel like I can make good progress in a short period of time. So that is all I have for the riff off. It finishes tomorrow. I will probably try and get a few more projects in to get it to 10, because they sort of do it in multiples of 5s for your entries, so to speak. But if I don't get there, that's fine. I'm really just doing it as an excuse to pull out some of my projects. Other things that I worked on that were not related to the riff off. I have my Whip Go pieces, and so one of them that got called was Mirabilia's Portrait of Veronica. And so I'm sure if you've watched any of my videos where I show this, I'm lamenting about the 1/1 skin, and I was very excited because I finished the skin areas that I was working on. So I finished everything in her chest as well as in her arm. She does have her other arm down here, which you can see, but because that arm will go below where my Q-snap is, I decided not to start that. And so by finishing all that skin, I was then able to sort of start to come in and fill in just little pieces of her dress. So, this little bit of her sleeve here and over here. And then I also was able to start working on some of the back stitch in the top of the pattern. And so obviously just the definition to the face and to the arm, as well as the lace here. Then I also put in what is sort of, she's got a very long necklace. I finally also understand what she's sort of doing with her fingers here, because it just seems a bit weird, but it's like she's holding her necklace here And so she's got her fingers like that, and that's what's sort of making the necklace drape over like that. Obviously, there's a lot of beads, so you can see some blank spaces in there. I'll do the beading at the end. But I was just so excited to get to that point. My whip go goal was to get 1,000 stitches in this, and I think I started on November 1st, and by November 2nd, I had hit that goal. I did continue a little bit more on it, a couple days longer, just because I wanted to, I was so excited to get some progress. When I went to the retreat in Ocala, I stopped in at Brick City Cross Stitch, and they have a model of this up on the wall, and just sort of, I looked up, as I was waiting to check out, and it was up there, and just staring at it, and how much, how beautiful it's going to be when it's done. The person who stitched that did an amazing job. Also made me realize how much further I have to go. When I first started this, I originally had bought a fat quarter for it, and then I realized I probably wasn't going to, be really tight on the margins with the fat quarter, so I went and bought a fat half to make it fit. And looking at the wall, it is a big piece. And as you know, most Mirabilias should be done usually on either a 32 count or 16 count because of the bead sizes. And so I'm sure that's what the model stitcher used as well. And she is a big woman, long woman with her dress. But I'm just so excited of where I am on this right now. And I'm just, following it back. I always loved it, but it was getting a bit tedious, but it just makes me want to do all the mirrors now. So that's where I am with Portrait of Veronica. And then my other whip go piece was Gone Batty with On Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. So got a couple hundred stitches in this, not too far. My goal is 1,000 stitches, but just basically was putting some, back and forth with the brown, and then some of the brown stitches down here. So these empty spaces, like this line here, he's got a collar, but he's got a fancy collar. So these are some of the doodads on his collar. And then this is the bottom of the cap. So quite a bit more back and forth, but it's not too bad. So glad to have a chance to work on him. And then the last piece I want to show you that I've been working on is another Heaven and Earth design. This is Midnight Vigil, the mini, artwork by Lisa Parker. And here's where I am now. And so basically I've been pulling some of the browns in the sash, and will, this is sort of the window frame. I will, I still have about another 100 stitches or so to go in high intensity for the rip off. This will be the next one I pull out, which my link is a feline. And the reason why I'm doing that is that we also get bonus points for curtains. So this pattern has curtains, and so I will be excited to get the bonus points as well. So that is all the stitching I have to show you. I do have quite a bit of haul because in addition to stopping in at Brick City, which was also having a sale, I had to pick up some fabric that I had put on order because she will do custom cuts for you. And so I have a full coverage next year that I want to work on. And so she was... So I went and picked that up, but then she was having a sale. I think I showed great restraint in the sale. Only picked up one pattern for myself. And the pattern I picked up was Teresa Kogut, Newcastle Bouquet. I have seen quite a few people stitch this up, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I was very excited that I was able to get it. So I hope, again, with the glare, I don't want to take it out of the plastic just yet. But that... really pretty, and was glad to have a chance to pick that up. I also picked up Stony Creek Cross Stitch, which has lots of cute patterns. I'm sure someone will do a flip through, but I really love this deer down here. But there's a lot of sort of, it's not an ornament issue per se, but there are a lot of smaller projects in here. I would say the only thing I don't normally get Stony Creek, but there are a lot of series in here, and so I like the whole series, but I don't have all of the magazines. So I'm not sure I would go back and buy the back issues in order to get all of the patterns. So that's, if you're a subscriber, it doesn't matter. But for someone like me who just picks this up, and it's not even something that I've seen at my stores, whether it's my local cross stitch store or the store like a magazine, like a bookstore. They don't have the Stony Creek ones, and so it's something, unless I ordered online, which I'm sure I can do easily, but then I had to go buy a number of them, so not sure I will do those, but I do really like, there are some really nice patterns in there. Also, my own Cross Stitch store that's actually in my town also had a sale, and it was 15% off everything except for floss. And so because of Black Sampler November, I'm not participating, but a lot of people have been showing some really gorgeous black samplers, and I've been seeing this one and I really wanted it. So this is Anne Grimshaw from the Scarlet Letter, a reproduction sampler. So I think it's absolutely beautiful. So I picked that one up. And then I also picked up some fabric. And so first piece I picked up, it's just it's looking a little bit blue, but it's actually kind of a lilac color. Picked that up. I also, you see, I picked up some Krynex I needed for various projects. And then I also picked up a huge piece of sort of a dark gray. And it's called Timberwolf, and this is a 32 count. I have a number of projects that I want to do on, they're smaller ones, but done on dark fabric. So it's not black, this is very much a charcoal gray, but it works well for that. I also then, all of my fabrics of the month have come in. And so one of them has now slid on the floor. It's on the floor now, so I'm not sure I'll show that one. That was the one from Fortnite Fabrics. It's a member of the Gray Club. But you know, I think I'm glad that one ends at the end of this year, because I now have a lot of gray fabric, and I'm not doing projects as quickly on those as I'm getting the fabric. But this is Color and Cotton. They're of the month. This is 32 count Lugana. This is, the color is Cypress. It's sort of a nice fall green. And then from Bestitch Me, I was so excited to get this because I have been looking for a red fabric, and this will fit the bill perfectly. So again, I don't want to take it out, but it's called Cardinal. It's a little bit less pink than this, but it is sort of a pinky red. It's not a true red, but that's okay with me. What I'm doing on it, I don't need a true red, but obviously she did this in preparation for the holidays. So I'm really excited to have that one and not have to go hunting for a piece of red fabric. I have been good for over a year and had not purchased any patterns from Haid, Heaven and Earth Designs. They have so many gorgeous patterns, but there's only so much time I have in my life, and I already have 11 full coverages going right now. Some are quite large and some not so large, but nonetheless, even my smallest one has over 40,000 stitches. So they're all time consuming, however you look at it. But when Magic Study came out last year, it was I don't know if it's called limited edition, but it was basically one that they only had on sale for a month or so. And if you didn't get it then, that was it. And at the time I thought, it was closer to when I had made a lot of purchases, and I said, okay, I don't need that. But then as I've seen people stitching it up, I've actually even seen someone who has finished it in one of the Facebook groups. The stitcher posted it. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I don't want to say it was FOMO because I missed out. So there was nothing about it. So when Heaven and Earth Designs released basically the same picture, but instead of having a purple background, it was a rainbow background. I just had to get it. So this is Magic Study from Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Rose Kahn. I just think this is absolutely gorgeous. And so, of course, as soon as they had a sale, I had to go buy it. I do not believe this is a limited edition. I think it's part of her regular stock. And so you can just, obviously they retire charts from time to time, but I think she knew that just people love this so much, and every month I think she has a limited chart, but that one just caught so many people's imaginations. So on Flosstube, for example, I know Jessie Marie Does Stuff is working on it. I don't think she's gotten very far on it. Also, Janet Jabber is working on it. She's got, I think she may have a page done or so. But there's just a lot of really great. You can see the progress on that. They're doing the original version. This is the rainbow version, and I know a lot of people jumped on, and when they saw this, they bought it because it is such a beautiful picture. And then because I didn't, it was a sale and I just decided I didn't want to just get one, I did get a second one. So this is the fitting, and artwork is by Victor Schramm. And again, this is one I've seen quite a bit that people, I don't know if I've necessarily seen people stitching it, but I certainly have seen people saying, I bought this, and it is a beautiful one. I just bought the regular color. There is a max color. But what had happened was I had put this on my wish list when just the regular one was available, and I was going to my wish list and I purchased it from there, and then I saw later there was a max color. I think this will be, I do always tend to the max color if it is available, but I'm doing plenty of shades that are not max color, and 90 colors are still quite a few, and so I'm sure this will be lovely if and when I ever get to it. So other things that I have to show you, and I'm not even showing you a lot of the stuff I have. I got quite a bit of haul. But at the retreat, we had a couple of lovely people who had made things that they gave out to everyone. So the first one, Scissor Fob. Really, it was a fall themed retreat, and so this lovely with the orange and the yellow beads, as well as the gourd with the vegetables. So someone made that and gave it to everyone. So that was really lovely. I don't have it in here with me, but we also got an Ort Jar, which was basically a glass jar with a cork top, and they had put a sticker on it that just sort of to commemorate the stitching retreat. We also had someone, she gave out floss rings with this, so you can see this lovely floral pattern on there. So that was really beautiful. So thank you to everyone who spent their time making items and giving them out to people. And those were not part of an exchange. These are just people out of their generosity of their heart that they wanted to make and give things out. As part of the retreat as well, we all got this little project bags. They all came with our names on there, and it was just filled with a lot of goodies in there. I'm not going to go through all of it, but a lot of stitcher's tools, so a highlighter and a snag nabbit, and just you can sort of hear all the crunchy goodness in there. There's a small pattern in there, lots of fun things. And then the last item I'm going to show you, when I went to Brick City, one of the employees there also makes project bags, and so I picked up this really cute project bag. It is a large one. I can get an 11 by 11 Q snap in here, and for my little cake shop, I was using a large Ziploc bag, so I'm now happy to have a matching project bag. It is a vinyl front, so that's part of the pattern. While I am doing on Pattern Keeper, I do have a printout of the pattern as well. So I just keep it all in there. There's a part of me that thinks maybe I shouldn't do that because it's a big pattern and this is really heavy. But I'm not really going that far with it. And then it's got this lovely pink fabric on the inside. So I was really happy to pick up that bag, and it was very reasonably priced. So that is all of the stitching I have to show you. For my next video, which again is going to be probably in about 3 weeks, I think I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to talk about my plans for 2022. I have a lot of things kitted up. I'm not intending on starting all of them, but I have a few things I'm definitely going to start, and then we'll probably pick a few others as well. But I will get a lot more into my plans in my next video, and it probably will not be, I will not be showing you a lot of my ongoing stitches. But that is all for my stitching. I just want for a part of what I'm reading and watching. I haven't had any books that have wowed me over the past couple of weeks. Just sort of some average reads, so I won't get into those. But one of the things I have been watching, we just finished it last night in fact, was Little Fires Everywhere. This is based on a book by Celeste Ng. I had read the book a couple of years ago, and so I was very excited to see that they had made it into a mini-series. And it takes place in Shaker Heights, Ohio, and which that's actually where my dad grew up, and my grandparents lived there for a long time. So we used to go there at least once a year, if not more often, to visit my grandparents. And I also had my dad's sister and her family also lived in the next town over. So just spent a lot of time going to Shaker Heights, and so I'm quite familiar with the town, which is a suburb of Cleveland. But it takes place in the 90s, and it's basically in the miniseries, it's about a Black single mother and her teenage daughter move to Shaker Heights, and they rent an apartment from a woman who she's a journalist for a small local paper, and she's married to an attorney, and they're very well off, and they have 4 kids. And so the one girl becomes, befriends one boy in the family, but then really with all the kids in the family, she sort of has unique relationships with them. And so it's sort of, a lot of it is sort of, it's the dynamics between the kids, but then it's also the dynamics, the more of mother-daughter relationships. That the one family has 2 boys and 2 girls, but it's really much more about the relationship between the mothers and their daughters. And just sort of the choices that they have made along the way. There's also issues about what truly makes a mother, because there is a woman in there who was a single mom and just couldn't take care of her baby. So at 2 months old, she left the baby at a firehouse, and a decision she regrets, and just how she's struggling. She wants to get to get the rights back to her child. So lots of different facets going on, lots of different layers. And when I read the book, and while race plays a huge issue in the book, one of the girls from the white family does have a Black boyfriend, and that plays a big issue into it. When I read the book, I was telling my husband I didn't recall that the single mother with her daughter was Black. And my husband actually had read an interview with the author who said she deliberately did not mention what race they were in the book. So I was like, oh, I didn't miss something. But it's obviously, if you're watching on TV, you can see immediately that Kerry Washington is playing the lead. She's a Black actress, and her daughter. But then because of that, a lot of issues between her daughter and the other family, there are some race issues that come up as well. And in the book, that doesn't come, because I think the author was trying not to say, she was trying to make it more of a class issue than a race issue on that particular topic. And so, it doesn't come quite into play in the same way. Nonetheless, so the lead actresses are Kerry Washington and Rhys Witherspoon. They both are brilliant in it, but also there's 5 main teenagers in the miniseries, and all 5 of those actors did a brilliant job as well. Very difficult issues they all had to face, and they all there's even though they all don't get equal screen time, they are multidimensional characters, and just sort of how all of them interact. So really, really well done. I'm sometimes disappointed by how television or movies interpret literature. And while this one did take, I don't want to say liberties, but did veer a little bit away from the novel, nonetheless, I think it really delved into the issues the way that the author intended, and it's actually makes me want to go back and read the book again. And again, it's not something I read 20 years ago. I think I probably read it 2 or 3 years ago, so not that long ago. So that is all I have for you today. So thank you if you made it to the end. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to seeing you in 3 weeks or so. Bye.